podcast. This is Court.
And this is Ashley. We're coming at you live from Boston with a very special guest,
Mr. Jared Hudgins. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello, hello.
We're so excited to have you here. Off camera, we were talking about your relations to Vanessa Hudgins.
No, it's
Can
crazy.
you tell us about that?
It's crazy. Yes, we share a last name, which it's crazy to hear you guys say my last name because I've never
said
heard.
It. Yeah, I actually,
Not
as
once.
I said it earlier, I was like, "That's
No,
right."
it's crazy.
Right? Am I
It's
pronouncing
crazy.
that correctly?
Yeah. So she's my cousin twice removed.
Yeah.
No, we're not related. We actually spell it completely different.
Oh, you do?
Really?
Yes, I'm Hudgins with an I. She's Hudgins with an E.
Okay.
The
So-
more you know.
For those that don't know Jared, let's give like a little intro. So we're new friends. Like we just met not that long
Kind
ago.
of crazy, yeah.
Yeah, and like we're already besties. We met via kickball.
Which is
Oh, we were
is
waiting to see what your reaction would be. to this one.
actually it's when I have to tell that story, like even to like my college friends or whatever, I'm like, oh, my new friends in Boston, whatever. And when I have to say like
how we met.
We met via
these
kickball.
it's embarrassing.
No, it is.
It is. But it's like it was fun.
No, it was fun.
It was organic.
Okay, but be honest. Do your friends, now that they know who we are, say like, "Oh my God, you were just out with your kickball friends last night"?
No.
Okay, perfect.
I have made
That's
sure
perfect.
I have made sure that you guys are not referred to as the kickball friends.
I refer to you.
But you
as
were.
Yeah.
But you were for a
I'm
minute.
Like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
Those are the friends, like my kickball friends.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, and I kind of love that for us. As you're listening to this, it is Pride Month. So we're actually having Jared on. If you
Set the
didn't know,
scene.
he is our gay friend. And we just like to announce, happy Pride. Support your gay friends. And yeah, Jared, this is your month. How do you feel?
It's crazy. It's crazy. I make jokes all the because it's interesting because like the way that I explain it is like I have no tie to this month. Like I appreciate that I'll make jokes and be like, yeah, this is like this month is for me.
Yeah, you
and
made
it's
sure
like
to
my
let the
birthday
group-
month. Yeah.
The group
Oh,
chat
yeah.
know.
But in reality, I'm not like running through the streets with like a rainbow flag. But I could.
You could. I feel like there is a side of you that is like that, but
See,
you don't allow yourself to tap into
No,
it.
I wish there was. And I'll just say this, like my style is just my style. Like that's
Yeah.
how I like, I'm not a big like gay bar guy, gay club guy. I'm a regular club guy, but like it is what it is. If that's your thing, go for it. Like in full support of you, if that's your vibe. It's never been my vibe, which is fine. Like, and I don't have anything against anyone else that decides to do that, but
So Jared is a twonk.
yeah. So I know we have to address
Let's talk
this.
about the
So-
gay vocabulary that we
Yeah,
have
so-
just become aware of.
in the gay world, so to speak.
Gay
Sounds
education
crazy.
right now. This is so funny.
In the gay world.
And this is a universal thing.
This is a universal thing, even with like straight people. Straight people know like the lingo. Like my dad will make jokes. He's like,
I
"Am
did not
I?"
know.
I didn't know until you.
He's like, "Am I a bear?" Like whatever. Which I'm so grateful that like he's so
Yeah.
amazing and like whatever. But there's classifications to the gay men, I guess, and unfortunately, for the most part, it's based on what they look like. And
Yeah.
that's just how gay culture is, which sometimes is a little unfortunate. So, we'll start at twink. You have a twink. They are
It's giving Twinkie.
normally like, smaller framed, maybe a little bit more feminine gay men. Great. Then you move into twunk, which I think I would consider myself a twunk.
Yeah.
Maybe a little less smaller framed, a little bit thicker, maybe
Thicker,
So
if you
thick.
will.
in the right ways. And then you move to otter. An otter is someone who's similar to a twunk, but maybe a little bit more hairy. Then I think it's like bear. Bear is like maybe an older, more hairy guy, maybe a little bit bigger, maybe, yeah, a little bit more bigger.
Okay. Wait, what's the one between twonk and bear?
Otter.
Otter. Otter.
Our friend
Yeah.
Mike.
Right.
we joke about.
I think it's so funny that whenever this conversation gets brought up, every straight man is immediately like no,
what am
but
I?
what am I?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah. Which is amazing.
And they take so much pride in what they are.
Yeah.
My favorite thing to do is tell them that they're something that they're not. So like if they
Get a
are
reaction.
like a ripped, like I'm like, you're looking a little Twinkie
Twinkie.
today. You know? Yeah, they definitely love that. So
No, I love that a lot. Did you know I didn't know that you were gay when I met you?
I didn't know either.
That's so it's interesting that you guys say that because I feel like the minute I open my mouth, it might not be like crazy obvious.
No, but knowing you now, I'm like, wait, how did
you not know? Yeah,
But I feel like
on
you
that?
never want to go into a situation and try to assume that somebody is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you
Yeah, I
wait
had
until
no
it's
idea
very
though.
obvious and you didn't say
Totally.
anything super obvious.
Totally. And I feel like
And we were also headed to kickball. So
Yeah.
you weren't like dressed super fashionable the way that you
No.
normally are. Like we were in athletic wear, which makes it
We-
harder to tell, I feel.
Yeah.
No, totally. That's interesting.
Yeah.
But it's not the first time I've heard that.
Yeah.
If I just am mute and
If
I
you
stay
just don't open your
silent,
mouth?
if I don't open my mouth but also like nowadays it's one of those things where there are straight guys that are that can lean a little bit more feminine
Yeah.
or a little bit more metro and like are dressed nice and like stuff like that. So I don't know. It could have gone either way.
Yeah.
Depends on the night for me.
He can do both.
I really can. No.
Dating wise, are you attracted to, twinks? Twonks?
Yeah, do you have a specific
What a pointed
type?
question. What a pointed question. So I struggle with answering this question because I don't know if I have a type. So I was in a relationship a couple years ago. Previous to that relationship, my type would not have been that person. It ended up working out that way. I think at the end of the day, I'm very attracted to like personality. I think initially I'm attracted to guys who are darker featured.
Yeah. I would have to agree. I like darker features.
Darker
And a
features
good
are always nice.
personality.
Yeah, but light features are good too.
I've never been attracted to a blonde man. I just
You
think
know?
as an adult, like, man, you should not be blonde. It's giving
But people can't help that. Like, they were born that way.
I know
They were.
it doesn't look right to me though.
I know what
bit.
you mean.
I get what you're
I've dated
saying.
some blondes.
I get what you're saying. There's something about a dark featured guy that is a little bit more masculine.
Yeah, I agree.
especially to a straight woman. But everyone has their types. One of my best friends dates like this Australian blonde guy.
Yeah.
Who's like a 10 out of 10,
Yeah.
and he's blonde.
Yeah.
And
I'm not saying
he's
they're not attractive. I
No,
just feel like they're so rare nowadays.
they
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah.
I feel
Especially
like
in Boston, I feel like.
they have to be like the surfer boy type in order
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
it
you have to be on a beach in Australia.
Yeah,
looking
you have to be
ripped.
bronze.
Exactly.
You have to
Yeah,
have
yeah.
abs
Exactly.
in order for it to feel as masculine nowadays.
Totally.
Yeah.
We digressed a little bit, but I think we should give some context to how like we became such fast friends.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
yes, kickball, but we didn't become so close with everyone else that was on the kickball
I
team,
know,
but
we
we
definitely
gravitated
didn't.
towards each other like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And how did that even happen? I don't
It's
even
because
know.
Jared makes you feel so special and immediately creates a one-on-one relationship with
It's
you.
wild.
And I was like, wait, I can't tell if like Jared really like likes me or if he's just like this way with everybody. And
Yeah.
I think it's a combo of the two.
You also do such a great job at, like you said, creating relationships one-off that make people question, like, I'm literally just reiterating what you just said, but like you make others jealous, if that makes sense. It's like, wait, oh my God. Like, are you sure? No, I thought I had this special relationship, but
Wait.
you're like, you have a genuine, amazing relationship with pretty much everyone that you come into contact with, I feel.
Wait, guys, I love that.
Right?
No, I would see Courtney after and I'd be like, oh my God, Jared like sent me the funniest thing. And she's like, oh yeah, he was texting me this morning. And I was like, oh, okay. No, that's fine. Like,
No,
that's
literally.
good. I'm really happy for you too, but like I thought it was something special.
Yeah, and like when we went to New York City for that weekend and you were rooming with Ashley and Joe, I was like,
That's right.
oh, were we
That's
not
right.
exciting for you, Matt and
Courtney
I,
was
to share a room
pissed.
with you?
Courtney was pissed. No,
Like, you just have that effect on people.
I don't know
and it's
why.
so
it's
crazy.
honestly probably one of the best qualities you
Wait,
could have.
guys,
Like
I
I
love
feel like
that.
everybody wants your attention. And I don't know how you cultivate that.
You can't say anymore because my head's gonna explode. explode.
And the thing about Jared is his head's already like so
big. It's so big. No, it is. Well, for one, I appreciate that. Two, I don't know what, I'm speechless. It was great.
Have you always been this way with friendships though?
Yes and no. Like, I have befriended people or become friends with people who initially I thought were like, this is like my group. Like, when you go to college, everyone thinks that your first friends in college are like gonna be your friends for all 4 years and throughout life and this, that, and whatever. And then after a certain point, and that could be a year, that could be a couple months, whatever it takes, you're like, like, I don't know if these are my people.
Yeah.
And then you switch it up from there. So I think I had to do that a couple times in college, and you know, the friends that I was friends with prior or closer with prior are, you know, I'm still friendly with today. It's just, it's a balance. Like, especially when you move into adulthood, I feel like it's a balancing act.
I also feel like if you find someone that you have like a very easy, amazing connection with, it's easy for you to like jump 17,000 steps and feel like you've known them forever, because no one has time to like entertain people that you don't necessarily click with. So I feel like when you it's rare to find those people in adulthood, but when you do, it's easy to get super close super quick.
I agree. Especially if you have the same interests and we all like to do the same thing.
And what are those interests, Jared?
I mean, my interests might differ a little bit, but I think what we have in common is we like going out to dinner. We like
spending a lot of money together. If anyone ever looks, actually, I'm pretty sure my Venmo's on private.
No.
But I will screenshot my Venmo history, and I do this to him once a month.
I know.
The only people I pay, it's him and Matt for rent. But literally scrolling, pay Jared $200 for a table, $70 for dinner, $120. I'm like, what is going on? You're too expensive.
It's
so funny. No, but we're inside and outside friends.
We are, which is great.
A great segue.
No, which is a great segue into.
Okay, so we want to coin this term, I think.
Yeah.
So Jared and I were talking about this the other day, but the concept, and I think everyone can relate to this.
Him and I were talking about this too the other day.
Yeah. Okay, but like, I just want to say, like,
literally
we
just
brought it
around.
up first.
Oh, okay.
So I think I was telling you about one of my inside friends, and you were like, "Wait, I also have an inside friend."
Done.
Yeah.
I'm just
and
looking around.
Jared said the term inside friend, and I was like, "That's just so true."
Yeah.
I would actually classify us as outside friends.
I see. Okay, I'll explain.
Yeah. Explain the difference.
So I feel like everyone has friends that you tend to do more wholesome inside activities with versus friends that you go out with on a regular basis. So like, I have some friends that are just as good of friends as friends that I go out with, but these friends are more in, I guess the only way to describe it is like inside friends. Like we do wine nights and we watch movies.
You do puzzles.
Yeah, I don't want to be seen with them. No. It's really just like a natural thing. Like, we just together as friends enjoy doing those inside activities with.
Yeah.
Whereas you have other friends that you enjoy doing outside activities with.
Well, and I think it's because sometimes those inside friends, like your version of outside activities, don't always mesh.
Exactly.
100%.
Exactly.
So I think that's like, there are people that I would love to like just get dinner with, and then there's a different set of people that I would love to go hit the bars with.
Yeah.
A lot of my inside friends, I would not really enjoy hitting the bars for whatever reason. I don't know exactly why.
Totally.
We just don't gravitate towards that.
Totally.
It's not a specific reason. I just feel like it's like a vibe that you have within your friendship.
Yeah. I kind of think inside friends also, you, in a way, have like a deeper connection with, because when you're sitting on the couch chit-chatting about wine, like the reason you choose to stay in is because there's so much to catch up on.
Totally.
And there's deep things that like you wouldn't talk about in a public setting.
Totally.
Yeah, but the best of friends are the friends that are both inside and outside.
Because you can
I
do
agree.
both.
You can do both.
And I think you guys are those friends.
You think?
Totally. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we haven't had many because we just always have things going on.
Yeah.
We're just so amazing and popular and have so much to do all the time.
Totally.
However, we have had a few different like girls' nights, girls
Yeah.
plus Jared.
No, we have.
And one thing to know about Jared is that he's, I already mentioned before, he makes people jealous. He literally has created a divide between the girls and their boyfriends.
I know, they're
because
pissed.
Jared's in, for the most part, a girl group chat and a guy group chat. Whenever the girlies have a little wine night or something, all the guys end up being like, wait, what? I want to do something tonight. And they all hang out together. And then Jared's texting them, I miss you. And we're feeling fucking
so
betrayed.
fake. It's so
fucking
But here's
not
the thing.
okay.
Here's the thing about that is I can do both.
Yeah, no, I love
So-
you for doing both.
I actually don't really want you to do both. I want you
Yeah,
to be
but here's
friendly
the thing.
with the boyfriend.
For my mental health, I have to do both. All right? So as much as I love the girlies,
mental health, or do you think it's FOMO?
it's a little bit of both. But
Yeah.
I think for the most part, I enjoy both vibes. I enjoy,
I also
girl
think
time.
you just love being in the know. You know
I do,
what I mean?
I do, and I love hearing
Yes.
both sides. So the same way, like we have very specific conversations within, if it's just me and the girls versus me and the guys. They're
Yeah.
very different conversations, which I like. I like hearing everything.
Yeah. Shall we talk about dating in Boston?
Let's dive in.
What has that experience been like for you?
Oh, for me specifically. So I'll give some background. So I moved back from college in 2019, got into a relationship, was in a relationship for 3 years, was a great relationship. Like we just parted ways and it wasn't right long term, whatever. Like he was great. We were great. Everything was great. It just wasn't going to work. And then after that, I sort of went on a rampage of like going on like 2 dates a week.
Do you think you're still on that rampage?
I was just gonna
No.
say you were on the rampage.
No, I mean I was, but like I enjoy going on dates, but I really like was just going on 2 dates a week. Like it was crazy. And then after that point, I really realized that I just had to kind of start to be a little bit more strategic about, what I wanted for myself, but also maybe I have to like take a step back and like work on a couple things personally, stay single for a little bit, maybe make new friends. A lot of the issues, or the one issue that I ran into was when I moved back from college, is that all my college friends live in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And when I jumped into a relationship, I became best friends with my ex's friends.
Yeah.
And then when we broke up, it was kind of like, all right, I maintained certain relationships for some sort of, period of time. And then after that point, I was like, all right, maybe it's time to, like make my own friends in Boston, like in the city that I live, and go from there. So I feel like I got a little ahead of myself, especially right after the breakup, of just like going on dates like crazy and not really taking time to like focus on the things that are more important, like figuring out your mental health and, like kind of just getting your shit together.
Yeah.
So I did that, and I'm definitely in a better place. But since then, like, dating, the way that I have to look at it is like, you have to make it fun.
Yeah.
You really just have to, you can't put any stock into the dates that you're going on. And that's something that I've realized is, you match with someone on an app or whatever it is, or you meet someone organically and you go on a date, look at it as a activity.
Yeah.
Look at it as a night out.
Trying new restaurants.
Trying new restaurants.
Practicing your social skills. That's what I always would say.
Trying new drinks, like whatever it is, the way that you look at it has a huge effect on what the outcome is going to be.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've realized. So if the more casual it is, the better.
Yeah, I agree. Just a couple points I wanted to say. One, I think it's super relatable to those listening that I feel like it's kind of like a niche situation, but becoming friends with all of your ex's friends, and then like,
Yeah.
because they were
Breaking up.
those friends before, I can only imagine how that is. I feel like that's a lot, but I also think the silver lining in that, in my head, I've created a theory that that's probably when you developed all of these skills of like how to be such a good friend and
Yeah.
like how to create those one-on-one relationships. Like, you are the easiest person to get along to. I truly feel like I could throw you into a room and I'm like, oh yeah, they're gonna love Jared.
Yeah.
And Jared will at least pretend to like them. Like, it would be like, I don't have to worry about that. So
Totally.
yeah, I feel like that's just relatable for anyone listening in that situation. And then 2, I'm excited for the single girlies to hear all of these dating tips, because I would say your primary way of going on these dates is the dating apps.
For sure.
Which I think can be a little tough for some people.
Yeah. It's a very interesting situation. Like, I have a couple different perspectives on this as a gay guy, and then also being friends with straight girls, straight guys. Like, I hear everything from every perspective, so I understand it all to a certain point. But for me personally, it's kind of one of the only ways that I'm gonna meet people and like be going on dates and whatever. Like, it being gay and being in like a big city, I'm not gonna just walk up to someone in a bar, and especially the bars that we go to, and be like, hey, like, you know, let's grab a drink, or like, I don't even know what I would say. Like, it's just not natural in that way. Whereas for you guys, it's like, you know, there's, you know, it's a little bit easier in that sense.
It's much more accessible.
It's much more accessible. It's much more natural.
I also feel like there's just not that many gay bars that are like that are your speed. I feel like all the gay bars in Boston are like so over the top.
And like rainbows, like just and that's not you.
It's just not my style, and it's not bad.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I want to make that clear.
Yeah.
It's just not my scene, which is totally fine. But I also don't know if the gay guys that are going to those bars are like meeting people that they're then dating.
Yeah,
like, I don't know if
so
it's like
true.
a hot spot for like relationships blossoming. Like, I don't know if that's I don't know if that's the vibe. So it really comes down to the apps. Like,
what apps are you on?
I was just about to say, can we rank the apps?
Yeah. So I'm really only on 2 for dating purposes: Hinge and Raya.
Okay.
So those are the 2 that I think, you know, probably yields the best results.
Is one better than the other? Or
they're just very different.
Okay.
Hinge is more accessible in that the majority of guys that I go on dates with are from Hinge and live in Boston.
Yeah.
Raya is more like, and this is also another relatable note, and like, have the listeners let me know if this is a common thing. With Raya, like, it's like global. It's you can match with people in like Milan or like whatever, and I mean, for the most part, it's cities close by. So it's like Boston, New York, whatever else city is
really?
That's about it. But so, you know, Rye is more like, you know, when I'm in New York, like, I'll go on dates with guys that I, you know, matched with. It's interesting.
Yeah.
But they're both very different.
Okay. I think let's go through do's and don'ts of a dating profile.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen your dating profile.
You haven't.
Okay.
You haven't.
My favorite thing is to audit somebody else's dating profile.
Yeah.
Like, if you had to give our listeners that are single a recommendation, guy or girl, how to structure, let's assume girl right now, how to structure their profile, what would you recommend? So
for a straight girl, like, it sounds so corny, but like, the number one thing is like, be authentic. Like, in terms of, I'll start with pictures.
Yeah.
Post pictures from like every aspect of your life, in terms of, you know, if you run, if you like work out, or like whatever it is, like whatever activity or hobby that you have in your daily life, if there's a picture that exists, post it. If, you know, and then with friends, with family, like having a comprehensive, I guess, like portrayal of like who you are as a person, I think is like super important. And I think answering the prompts is also a really great way to like show your sense of humor.
But I almost feel like the way people respond to the prompts, they're so like copy paste cookie cutter, because
Yeah.
I think people are scared to
Yeah.
give an authentic
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah.
My biggest word of advice is like answer the prompts authentically. Like, be weird, like be silly, be funny, show your personality. And I think for our straight girls out there, like, guys like that. Guys don't want a cookie cutter girly.
Yeah.
They want someone that's different. In my prompts, I think I'll give an example. Like, and I don't know if this is, I mean, this is something that literally came to mind, and I forget what the prompt is. I think it's like something about a skill.
Yeah.
And I said like
what are your skills?
parallel parking, or like
Yeah.
like
Gotcha.
something very
Yeah.
niche and like,
Yeah.
like just funny. And then there's you know, what's your typical Sunday look like?
Yeah.
And my answer to that is like, and this is very genuine, depends what I did on Saturday. Or depends what happened. I forget how I phrased it, but like,
Hot take, those are really boring answers.
okay. Listen.
Parallel parking, and it depends.
It's better than
But it's authentic to me, and I'm not boring.
No, you're not at all.
But it allows for someone to
like
respond,
ask a further question,
relatable,
Yeah.
and that's the other thing. Like,
well, I like the depends one, because then people can ask like, I don't know, what'd
What'd
you
you
do
do?
last Saturday?
Exactly,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
It can start a conversation.
things that open up for conversation.
Yeah.
Too.
There's nothing worse than seeing like, what's your ideal date or something.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I remember seeing this answer so many times, and it's like
Oh
a
my
walk
God.
on the beach. And
No.
it's like, how stupid can you
Enough.
be to put that as
Candle-
like an answer?
Yeah.
Like, how
Candlelit
cliche.
dinner.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, like get
no.
over it. Okay, what is something that you would find on a dating app that if you saw it, you would immediately swipe left?
Ooh, that's such a good question. It's usually something that someone will say. I've been more willing to overlook certain things and maybe chat, like get to know someone and chat with someone who maybe isn't like my initial, like, you know, go-to at first.
I think
Yeah.
that's smart, because I feel like men are not the best with, I mean, not every, regardless of who it is, it's hard to craft a profile, like we said, that's reflective of the person.
Yeah.
So like you should give people a chance, even if you're kind of like on the fence, unless my red flag is, I would see this like randomly and it would immediately give me the ick. When you could tell that a guy was using like a Snapchat filter, like in a selfie.
Oh, that's really bad.
Know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
a certain
that's
type of
very
selfie.
specific, yeah.
Likely they would probably be shirtless in a mirror or something,
Yeah.
and they were taking. You could tell it was a Snapchat photo, and it's like immediately no.
That's so funny. So mine was gonna be if there's a selfie on the profile. I don't think selfies are for boys.
No.
They're only for girls.
And gay men.
And gay men.
And gay men. That's true. That's
They are,
true.
for sure.
Wait, Jared, you were going through your archived photos on Instagram the other
Yeah,
day, and
I
we came
was.
across like a whole series
I
of
know.
Jared selfies, and they're
I
so
know.
funny. You should probably send us a few so we can post them.
Yeah. No, they're, and first things first, I will never send you those photos. Secondly, yeah, like you're able to archive photos for a reason. Like,
Yeah.
go back through your high school photos or your early college photos, archive those bitches. Like,
Yeah.
like get those out of there, because especially, and this is another thing for on the dating profile note, link your Instagram. Like,
Oh,
like
great hack.
link it up. It allows people to not only connect with you in two places, on the dating app and on Instagram, but then like get off the dating app. Like,
Yeah.
go into Instagram DMs. Maybe it's a leeway into texting
Yeah.
or Snapchatting, like whatever
It's giving
you
Matt's
do.
approach.
It's giving Matt's approach
Correct.
for sure. Matt and I would have never met on the dating apps. I just don't believe
Yeah.
we would.
I prefer to chat elsewhere,
Yeah.
especially
Are-
over text.
Is everyone a chatter before a first date?
No.
Or immediate, like, don't want to waste my time.
Don't even
Let's
ask
hop
me
on
a
a
single
date.
question.
I'm the same way.
Set the date. We'll talk on the date.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
a great point. And
But you're a chit chatter.
I am a chit chatter. Here's the thing. You match with someone that you like, you hit it off in the first couple messages, whatever that means, and you set a date and you can chat like up until the date.
Yeah.
So say you match on a Monday and you set a date for Thursday, like of that same week. continue the conversation. Like, it's spicy. Like, it
Yeah.
adds.
I disagree.
Oh, no.
I could see him doing that.
It adds
100%.
such a build up to the date where you can get a little bit more insight into like who they are, what they
their
like,
humor is.
what their humor is, and it allows you in your brain to come to the date almost like a little prepared, like not too prepared,
Yeah.
but come to the date with, you know, maybe a couple pointed questions. Like, you know, maybe he mentioned something in a conversation that you guys were having and you want a little bit more context on, or
That's
whatever
true.
it is.
Yeah.
Like, I think the conversation leading up to the date is the best, but you match, you're interested, set a date. Like,
Yeah.
I
that's
agree.
it. Going back to the red flag thing, that's a red flag. If a date isn't set and it's giving pen pal energy,
Yeah.
It's never going to turn into
No.
anything.
No.
it all comes back to what your intentions are. If you're on the apps to like chat, go for it. Chat it up, do whatever you want. Like,
Yeah.
that's fine. But if you're on the apps to like find someone to like be with and for long term, whatever your intention is, act on that.
Dating? Whoa, Courtney. Courtney's doing splits
Courtney's
for the pickles over
legit.
here. Oh, did we acknowledge that we're drinking pickle martinis?
We didn't.
Oh, well, Jared chefed up these pickle martinis and they
martinis
were
on deck.
so good.
They're good.
Mentioned in last week's episode, these are said pickle martinis that we had at book club.
Yes. Very good.
I can't wait to hear the ASMR sounds of Courtney eating
I took my
pickles.
first bite in the mic just for you.
Perfect.
Thank you so
I love
much.
that. Can I have a bite of that pickle though?
Sexy.
Oh my god. Wait, I kind of want to do it.
Not us passing the pickle.
Ready?
Yeah. Great. You can finish it.
So my hate from Snapchat comes from, I think this is a straight man's thing. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure you experience that as well. Some guys are out here not texting and using
Only-
Snapchat
Yeah.
as the only form of communication. That is what I am fully against.
Yeah.
If you are actually interested in me and like you want to date me one day, Joe and I never sent one Snapchat to each other.
Yeah.
Not once. Like, he's texting me, he's calling me. Like, that, we're adults in the sense of, like, okay, if you're trying to court me, like, you better not be, you're not doing it over Snapchat. That's, like, a major ick for me.
Yeah.
And for some reason, these men out here, they're just, like, they only use Snapchat as their only form, even to,
That's
like,
their way they could be sneaky.
even to talk, like,
Could be.
hey, like, see you later, question
Yeah.
mark? It's like, if you actually wanted to see me later, you would
Yes.
text me.
Yeah.
100%.
I-
So that's
listen,
where my hate. I fully support
think-
you having fun on that.
I think it's one of those things where, once again, it's what are your intentions?
Right.
Like, yeah, I think Snapchat's probably a little slutty. Like, I think it's
Honestly, that's true.
I think it's one of those things where, you know, but I will stand by my thought that it's just like fun. It's more fun than going back and forth over text. You could be like showing whoever you're talking to like what you're doing during the day, and like it's just, I don't know. I think it's more entertaining to me personally than going back and forth over text. It's all what you like.
Yeah.
Do what
Yeah.
you want, but that's what I say.
I think I was yucking your yum, and
Keep your comments to yourself.
I probably should keep my trap shut.
No, not at all.
Yeah, definitely start keeping it shut.
Yeah,
for
I'm gonna
sure.
work on that.
For sure.
Thanks
do
for
not.
thanks for putting me in my place.
Yeah. I'm always, I'm always here to
I
do
know,
that. As
I
is
know.
Courtney for me. So
Yeah.
that works.
Yeah, it's like the line. Wait,
Yeah.
so I'm just like bottom. I'm like the tadpole.
Are you a bottom?
Are you a no? That's for exclusive content. You have to pay to hear that.
Yeah.
I think we should talk about that.
Oh, okay, perfect. You top or bottom, or can you do both?
I tend to lean more top.
Wait, I'm so dead. Yesterday we were like, oh my god, Jared, like how spicy should we get on the show? And you're like,
Spicy.
no, too much.
No,
But now we're like,
spicy.
yeah.
Let's dive in.
2 pickle martinis in.
There's something about these mics up to your face that just makes you
You're
want to
like,
tell it all ears.
Yeah.
Salacious, like very good. I tend to lean more top. That's just my preference. Yeah, but like I will do both and can do both.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's aligns with my personality.
Have you
Yeah.
always been that, like, from the start, or did it, like, evolve over time?
No, it's pretty much been that way.
Yeah. So you meet your dream man,
Yeah.
but he has the same preferences as you.
Yeah.
Like, that's
So
probably
that's
a
the
difficult
thing.
conversation.
That's the thing that can come up sometimes.
Yeah.
Like,
On the apps, like, do you talk about that?
Yeah,
'Cause
so
I
it
feel like some
depends.
people
Oh
would
my God,
have, like, a
is it-
strong
Is
preference.
it imagine it was a question like
depends.
drinking, yes or no,
Yeah.
smoking, yes or no,
it depends.
preference top or bottom.
Yeah.
It really depends on what app you're using. So, for example, like we all know there's this lovely app called Grindr,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
which essentially, for those that don't know, is
Everyone knows what Grindr is.
okay. All right, it's a gay hookup app. If you're living under a rock, but there's a space on the app for you to put like what your
Wow.
preference
There
is.
is. See, I feel like that's helpful
on
because
Grindr.
that is like a hookup app.
On
Yeah.
like Hinge, there's not necessarily like a question or like a place for you to
there a
put that.
code?
But there, like guys will put an emoji arrow either up
No
or down.
way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I don't personally because it doesn't that's not like
That's
a
not a
deal
make or
breaker
break.
for
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
But for some guys it is, which
I
is
could
fine.
see for some guys it being a deal
Wow.
breaker. I feel like, I don't know, some people are like super specific about
Very
certain
specific.
things.
I'm just like I'm with it all. Like
Yeah.
I'm down for whatever.
And I also just think that relates to, that trend that was the friend that can't pick a lifestyle. But also like the friend that is literally down to do everything. I feel like that's you.
Yeah.
I feel like you would be so down to do everything.
Yeah, I am.
Like we're hitting the clubs, we're having a movie night in. Like
Yeah.
Jared ran the Boston Marathon last year.
Yeah.
Like I was like, "Oh, you want to run the half marathon?" He's like, "Yeah, sign me up." We're like, "Oh, do you want to go to the club tonight?" "Yeah, sign me up." Like you will do anything and say yes to everything.
Yeah.
And I think that's inspirational.
It is. It is. Just like I'm in my like say yes era.
Yeah.
I think, which also comes with a price tag, but
literal price tag.
Yeah, a literal price tag. But I think like I've just stopped taking. I used to take life too seriously, and now I've started to take life a little less seriously. Where it's fun to say yes.
I want to chat about worst date stories.
Yeah.
Did you prepare a worst date story?
Did
Did you give it some thought?
I gave it some thought.
Okay. Yeah, because I feel like that's really hard to be put on the spot.
Yeah.
With so all three of us are going to share our worst date stories, and then we also asked you guys for your worst date stories, so we'll read a couple of those, and then we're going to go into some listener write-in questions, just like comments, questions, everything about the dating scene.
Fabulous. I'll go first. Perfect. Because mine's anticlimactic.
Oh.
Wrong
Not
what I was
No,
expecting.
I know. It's actually kind of crazy because I've been on many dates. When I sat down to like think about what my worst date,
It's giving speech. When I sat
Right,
down to
right.
think about this moment and reflect.
when I sat down to think about like what my worst date story is, I genuinely don't have a worst date story. What I will say is, and I feel like this is relatable to, you guys have probably been through this before, where you're chatting with someone on the app and you sit down for a date with them or you go and meet them, and immediately when you meet them, you're like, oof,
Not
like
the vibe.
not
Yeah.
what I expected. Like,
Yeah.
so there have been a handful of times where
there's
that
nothing worse.
has gone in that direction.
You also know it the second you sit down too,
Oh,
and it's like
immediately,
Fuck, we have a
immediately.
whole dinner to sit
It's
through
just
right now,
a-
or a whole hour or two.
And that's the thing. It's like these specific times where that has happened. Usually I'm a drink guy. Like, let's go for a drink,
Yeah.
maybe an appetizer. Like, that's that. We're not going to sit down for like a 3-course meal. That's usually my style. But in these moments, we were sitting down for like a whole dinner. It happened to be like an after work situation. From the chats,
Yeah.
you're thinking it could potentially move in a certain direction. And then
Yeah.
you leave the date and you're like, definitely not.
Yeah, it's kind of a letdown.
And then it feels like a waste of time. But
Yeah.
then I have to remind myself, like, all right, like no time is wasted. Like,
Yeah.
this was a
A learning experience.
A learning experience, I guess.
When I was dating and I would have those sort of dates, those were always when I went like the most chaotic version of myself. Because I was like, oh, I'm realizing in this moment, I'm never going to see this man again.
Yeah.
So I would just like ask the craziest thing.
Yeah.
I was almost more myself.
Yeah.
And
Totally.
then regardless, it ended up being a good date because I was like just chit-chatting, having the best time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine story, but
Yeah, I know.
Let's get into something more exciting.
Super anticlimactic,
like
but
mine.
Go
yeah,
ahead.
let's go
Okay,
for it.
so this one was easy for me. Like this one came top of mind.
Perfect.
So I met this guy on the dating apps, my pre-Joe era. Would that be PJ?
PJ.
PJ.
PJE.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, I met this guy on the app. We were really hitting it off. He was like love bombing me. He like picked me up to go on like a beach date and like showed up with champagne. He did like a toast to me on the beach. He created a shared notes list of like a bucket list. This is like the second date.
What?
Yeah. This also a man that had me split the bill on the first date. So there were red flags from the beginning.
Oof.
We'll circle
Something
back
we
to
have
that.
to
talk to
address.
that.
Yeah.
We'll circle back
For
on that.
sure.
So I was like, I was getting love bombed, and I was like, oh, he wasn't even that cute, like at all. But I was so, oh my god,
You were, like, in a
wow, he's like
fantasy land.
obsessed with me. Like this is so fun. Like it's so fun when somebody you meet like shows so much excitement for you, no matter
Totally.
what. Like it just becomes more attractive, at least for me, anyways. So we're like, you know what? This
love
is
a good
going
love
so
bomb.
well. Let's introduce
love
our friends. So I was like, I have a single girlfriend, my roommate at the time. He's like, I'll bring my best friend. He's also single. I'm like, perfect. Low lifts, we go to Earl's at the Prudential.
Easy.
Immediately we sit down. The two friends we brought are hitting it off so much more. It was so obvious that me and this guy
Yeah.
had
Nothing.
no connection whatsoever. They hit it off. It was so like synergin. Why do I keep trying to say that word?
Synergistic.
Synergistic. It was beautiful. I was like, I'm watching a love story right now, and this is gonna suck when like we're at the wedding. Spoiler alert: they did not. They did not
didn't
make
make it.
it.
They didn't
However,
make it.
in the moment, it was just like so awkward.
So defeating.
Also, another ick from that guy. So already I was like, oh, well, I have the ick. Like, this is gross. This is embarrassing, honestly. Like, we're going to move on from this. In that moment, I was like, okay, so we're never going to talk again. Great, perfect. 3 of us, not my date, just ordered, like, if you know Earl's, they do, like, a drink of the month. That's,
Yeah.
like, a $6 drink of the month. I'm sure with inflation now, it's a little bit
$6.
higher.
7, 8.
This
Damn.
man is ordering double Casamigos soda, like, on the rocks, something like that. I think it was literally tequila on the rocks. Much more expensive. Guys, the bill comes. These boys make all 4 of us put our cards
No.
in.
I can't.
I was like, and then it gets worse. He tips 15%.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that a good one?
Wow.
Yeah.
I know.
It's just so wild. Like,
Oh.
I was going to say this at some point too. Like, I don't really care if I have to split the bill, but nothing icks me more when I offer to split the bill with them just out of like courtesy when the bill comes.
And they accept.
And they don't even have a flinch. Like, they don't have a pushback. Sometimes they'll be
Sure.
like, no.
Sure.
And then eventually we'll end up splitting because
Yeah.
I'll like say one more thing. But if I literally like am digging for my wallet and they're like, oh my God, please give me your card. I'm like,
Terrible.
ew. And
Yeah.
a lot of the times we're like going out for a sushi roll and one drink. Like,
Yeah.
you
It's
can't
not that
pay
serious.
like $30 just to make a good first impression.
I think men dating women on the first date, the man should always pay.
Yes.
Full transparency, like Joe and I, we have a very equal relationship. We've been together 3.5 years. You know, Joe picked up that bill on the first date, no problem. Like,
Yeah.
I think later down the line is when you can like start to split things. Like, you're in more of an equal relationship. But if a man's taking you on a date, like, let him impress you a little bit. Let him want to take care of you.
Yeah.
You probably have a different perspective, which is really interesting.
I have a perspective on both situations.
Okay, go.
So if you're a straight guy going on a date with a girl, pay the fucking bill.
100%.
It is.
Yeah.
I can't say this more. Like, it is such a bad look. Like, if the girl even takes out her card and you accept her card to split the bill, it's first of all an ick for her,
Jail.
but then in jail immediately.
Immediate jail.
But then it's an ick for like everyone else
server?
too. The server, like it's an ick for everyone. It is horrific. Like
My
I can't say
favorite
that
thing-
enough. I can't say that enough.
My favorite thing is when servers, or like specifically more in like a casual setting.
Yeah.
We were up in New Hampshire getting like roast beef sandwiches, and I went to take out my card to pay for like Joe and I's sandwich, and the guy was like, no, he pays for you.
No way.
And Joe was like, yeah, good call. And I was like, honestly, like I love that, and I'm
Yeah.
sure people don't like that.
Listen,
but I'm such a fan.
I have like
Men need to be put in their place.
I agree. I have a traditional mindset when it comes to that kind of stuff. But when it comes to two guys going on a date,
Who pays?
and that's like the big looming question. And
The top pays.
to be, I know.
The top.
That's what I
always
equate it
pays.
to.
So at the end of the day,
Yeah.
I usually pick up the bill.
Yeah. Which I could genuinely see you as like 50-50. I could see you wanting to pick up the bill. I mean, we go out every time. I'm pretty sure you pick up the bill 99% of the time.
Yeah.
I like to put your card down.
Yeah.
I also see you with somebody who like will take care of you.
Yeah, I'm a
Which
little
is
bit
like
of both.
hard for me. Yeah.
I should take a poop.
Guys, I had tummy troubles. No kidding. We've just truly been talking for so long
Yeah.
that the battery died.
Yeah.
So we did a little martini break and we're back. So I believe we left off at this man tipped 15%. What is our take on tipping?
It's a bad look if you tip under 20%.
I
Yeah.
agree.
It's immediate. I'll never see you again kind of
Yes.
thing. From someone like I've worked in restaurants and I've worked in hospitality for years in like on the side, and it's just the biggest ick.
Yeah.
Like that's how I see it. And it's also like if you're not tipping 20%, you're cheap as fuck.
Yeah.
Like
well, I feel like at that point the difference between 15% and 20% is a couple dollars. So
Yeah,
it's like
it's a couple
why
bucks.
for the principal, like why wouldn't you just do 20%?
I agree.
He clearly just wasn't making a first impression all around with
Right.
And-
making you split and then that. It's just like, come on, bro.
also it's like it comes across like you don't care, and that loops into my thought on treating how you treat service staff.
Totally.
Yeah.
So if you're a fucking dick to your waiter or waitress,
Yeah.
another one
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's another huge red flag.
canceled. Like
Yeah.
it just never works from there.
Courtney, what is your worst first date experience or worst date experience in general?
I'm going to give a very high level overview.
Okay.
If you're interested, I've shared this story in granular detail in a previous episode. But essentially, I was talking to somebody in COVID for months, had never met each other in person. We FaceTimed. We watched Netflix. You remember when Netflix Party was a thing?
Yeah, and you could like watch
movies.
Netflix party?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you watch movies at the same time as somebody else.
in like a different location.
Never heard of that.
Yeah, like just COVID shit.
COVID
you know what
vibes.
I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
It's like Zoom birthdays.
Yeah.
What did you just
Yeah.
say?
Zoom birthdays.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
No.
Same vibes.
Terrible. Anyhow, there was a lot of hype for this person. We had a great connection. I decided that it would be a great idea for the first date to be a weekend extravaganza because I wasn't living in Boston at the time and I was visiting for a weekend. And I thought, great, let's stay together for the entire weekend. I show up. The man has no plan, no itinerary for the weekend. I'm visiting him. I'm like, where are we getting dinner? He's like, great question.
No idea.
Like, where should we get dinner? I'm like, King, you've been living here for years. Like, should be a very easy question.
Yeah.
We ended up going to the grocery store, getting groceries for me to cook for him. I show up. There's no AC in this apartment. It is the dead of summer. This man is living in an apartment in Boston with no AC.
That is just so tragic. There's nothing worse than meeting somebody for the first time. You're spending a weekend together.
Yeah.
That has to be
Also,
my
that's
worst
like
nightmare.
that's
And
like
then you're
never
just sweating.
do that. Never.
And it-
never.
Also, like, you grew up in Florida. Like,
Oh, yeah.
growing up and I'm sure your home had AC.
Oh yeah.
And
that shit's
I
cranking
grew up
all
with
day
AC,
long.
and and this is like such first world problems, but like I feel like going into an environment with no AC is just
To live there, like that's at
horrific.
least something that he should have warned me. Like, hey, it's kind of hot in here.
Yeah.
Hey, like I'm ordering an AC, but it's
Expectations.
not here yet. Or I like to live in moisture, you know, just so
Yeah.
that I'm prepared. Like meeting someone for the
live in moisture.
meeting someone for the first time, and like you can't, like, girls, no matter how low or high maintenance you are, you need to know what you're walking into, maybe, so you pack accordingly.
Yeah.
You
Totally.
aren't expected to like be dressed up the whole time. You know, like I'm meeting this person in person for the first time ever. Like I'm not
Yeah.
trying to be dripping sweat and I'm a sweater.
right.
Yeah.
Anyway, it doesn't stop there. He also lives in like the Hobbit floor of his like 3-story apartment building.
Obsessed.
Oh.
So you know when there's like a little slant and like you kind of have to like duck to get in.
Oh.
Like underneath, like the
No,
basement.
no, on top. Like it's giving attic, you know, where it's like,
Harry Potter vibe.
Like the
Harry-
walls are slant. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
oh, I'm not done. He has a bathroom on his floor. The bathroom has a curtain as a door.
No.
No.
Ashley, you've heard this story.
Courtney.
I know. I
Remember
didn't.
this?
I don't remember the curtain.
Guys.
Courtney,
But
the
that's because you
curtain
had to
is
drive
nuts.
around and find.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Find somewhere to.
Curtain. So if like
So if things got
if
crazy,
things got crazy, there was just no way. He wanted to watch TV all weekend long. Didn't have an itinerary, like you said. He decided
wanted to watch TV all weekend long.
Yeah, like wake up, let's put the movie on. He keeps on trying to like put the next thing on. I'm like, should we go outside? Like, should we walk around, drive
was it
around?
summertime?
Yeah, it's like July. It's like
Oh, so
it's
it's
like
nice
100
out.
degrees outside.
Okay.
It's prime time.
It's
in
prime.
Boston.
Without
It's prime
without
time.
AC.
Without AC, exactly.
Okay.
Almost over. He was decided that he was going to cook me breakfast the next morning. I was
So
like,
generous.
perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, King. What did he make me? An egg, cheese, and pepperoni breakfast sandwich.
Wow.
I've never eaten something so greasy in my entire life, guys. I took 2 bites and I thought I was gonna fucking explode.
I would pass
from
out.
all angles.
would
Not
pass
only am I dripping in sweat, it's 100 degrees.
I would pass out for
It's
sure.
100 degrees out. Now my mouth is on fire. Now my tummy is rumbling, and I can't go to the bathroom. And
there's a curtain.
Yeah.
Those tummy rumbles plus the curtain plus
No,
like
guys,
it's
I
actually
took 2 bites, and he was like, "Is everything okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just like not hungry anymore." I'm like shaking, sweating. Sorry, can't eat this. So my bright idea, let's go drive around Boston and see what we find. You know, it was still cold, but we couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
But I was like, M Street Beach is probably popping today. At least just get
for
outside.
sure.
And
What year
that was the
this?
strategic move,
Was this 2020 or 2021?
2020.
Okay.
And the strategic move was, like, I have to get gas. I'm going to run to 7-Eleven to get a water or something and go to the bathroom. And then, yeah, that's really the whole worst date weekend extravaganza. And the moral of the story is, if you're ever meeting someone for the first time,
Don't spend a weekend with them.
don't spend a weekend with
No
them.
matter how much you
No matter
think.
how much you think you know
It's a
them,
connection.
don't
Yeah.
spend a
I know.
weekend with them.
Yeah.
And I mean, on that point, also don't spend a night with them. Like,
Yeah.
there have been times where I've met someone for the first time and I've spent a night with them.
Yeah.
You can take that however you want, and it's gone wrong in 80 different directions. Like it's never the vibe.
That is my worst date story.
That's a pretty
Wow.
good one.
It's a
yeah.
very good
That is a good one.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
Yeah.
Beats mine.
Anything beats yours. Yours is
Sorry that I haven't had bad date stories.
Oh.
Sorry that I haven't set myself up for failure.
honestly fair. Honestly fair. Point taken.
Well, so
Point
should
taken.
we read through some of the worst date stories that our listeners wrote in?
Let's
Yes.
do it.
We went on a date to Dollar Oysters. Guy proceeded to eat 36 oysters in one sitting.
I feel
Okay.
like that is so crazy.
I think that's just disgusting.
Also risky with like the oysters, because you never know, no matter how good the oysters are.
You take a risk when you eat 2 oysters.
Exactly. 36?
No.
That's a little nuts. And I think in general on the first couple dates, like, you know, could be controversial, but manage your eating. Like, you know, eat just enough, like, to still be cute. Like,
Were you a salad
I don't know.
on the first date, guy?
No, I'm not a salad on the first date. Like, I don't know. I think there's different things for different situations. So, like, in my, like, I'll eat a burger or, like, whatever. It's different for 2 guys. But I think for, like, you know, the girlies...
Okay, if you're a girl, you better be ordering a salad on the first date.
No, it's just common sense. It's like, don't order if you have sensitivities to dairy. Don't order a chicken Alfredo pasta dish. Like little things like that. Don't go out for ice cream. Okay, next, this guy brought me to Burger King
For a first date.
Okay, well, that's actually...
It was a surprise. It was like, oh, I'm taking you somewhere special.
A surprise for what? Was he trying to be funny? So here's the thing with that. If it was a funny, like, shtick, like...
Oh, just kidding. We're going somewhere else after?
Yeah, haha, like, well, whatever.
That's almost, like, still not
That's
funny.
honestly not even that funny.
Like,
No.
That's just like an immediate disgusting.
No. I have no opinion on that other than no.
No, jail.
Okay, next. This is a long one, but I'm going to sum it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Summarize. Cliff notes.
I took a hinge date on the river paddleboarding, which in retrospect, don't recommend unless you're sure you can beat him up if he's secretly a kidnapper. Honestly, very true.
Period.
So true.
First impression wasn't great. He lied about his age. He was wearing hideous swim trunks, which gave me such an ick.
Oh.
I already knew I didn't want to go anywhere, but I'd already packed my paddle boards, borrowed my dad's truck to transport everything. I'm going to pause there. That's a lot of effort for a first date.
Okay.
It is.
For the girl, to be honest.
I want to address one thing.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Lying about your age?
No, that's actually serial
Did
killer
I say age?
vibes. Yeah.
Sorry, I meant to say height. My brain does that sometimes.
Well, equally as bad.
It literally switches it. I don't know.
Equally as bad. If
Height.
you're lying about your height, it's you're
setting yourself up for
own it.
Yeah.
failure.
If you're like a shorter guy and you're insecure about that, own that.
I agree.
Own that you're 5, 6, or 7 or 8 or whatever your height is. Own that shit.
I agree.
Yeah.
100%.
The more you own it, the better the girl is going to receive it.
100%. You're just setting yourself up for failure.
Correct.
About 10 minutes in, he dropped a tidbit about his ex-girlfriend, and I was super bored, so I decided, let's unpack that. Long story short, I made this strange man cry about his ex-girlfriend and tell me all about the relationship tea while paddleboarding through this river in the middle of the woods. At the end of the paddleboarding session, he proceeded to tell me how much fun he had and how he has never met a woman as kind and caring as me. He asked if I wanted to get a drink afterwards, and I didn't know how to tell him no without crushing his dreams because I did make it seem like I was into him and asking him all these very vulnerable questions. I lied and said that I had to go see my dad at the hospital, which wasn't the craziest lie because he was at the hospital. He's okay now. LOL.
Okay.
You got to be careful with those.
Yeah.
For sure.
She said, the next day he found my Facebook and started sending me money in Messenger to go treat myself to lunch and put gas in my car, etc. I took the money and blocked him.
Okay.
Never to be seen again.
All right.
That is so crazy.
That's nuts.
Handled so well.
So she blocked him on
Facebook and Hinge. She
no.
unmatched.
Unmatched on Hinge. Then he found her on Facebook.
Yes.
Added her on Facebook. Then proceeded to send her money on Facebook or whatever from there.
Yes.
Because he felt so bad that
Fucking
he cried
insane.
on the date.
I mean, this is just like this is a very like
This man does not need to be
specific-
dating. He needs to be introspecting and healing.
he needs to be like in an insane
100%.
asylum.
He needs a date with a therapist.
Yes.
Yeah. He needs a date with God.
That was a really good story.
These write-ins are more so about the dating apps than a worse story.
Let's do it.
I didn't know you could put a voice note on your profile, but apparently you can. And someone wrote in and said, do not put a voice note on your profile. To which then I proceeded to say, please elaborate on this. People who have accents put voice notes on their Hinge strictly to flex how they sound.
That's so true.
It is.
That is gross,
Yeah.
That is gross, but I can so see that.
right?
Yeah.
Also, people
Flex
who
what?
Their accent.
just to flex that they're foreign. I mean,
Yeah,
in
yeah,
Boston,
yeah.
I get it.
I
No
get
one's
it.
foreign.
If
So I
you're-
feel like that is
yeah.
a flex.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. They know it works for them when they're out at the bar. Like, oh my God,
Yeah.
where are you from?
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Also, people who try to forcibly be funny and mispronounce their own name with that.
That's
How do
another
you
one.
say my name prompt?
So
Yeah.
overdone.
Like if their name is like Mike. And
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
Like,
It's
hey, my name is pronounced Mike.
I can't.
Yeah.
No.
Worst is when people make audios of them playing an instrument and they're not good.
Yeah.
That's just sad.
That is sad. That kind of like tugs at my heartstrings.
So
Right.
what I will say about the voice notes is, or the voice memos or whatever they are.
Yeah, what
is
would
that
you use that for?
You could use it for a million different things. You could use it in a really great way.
I
You
think it's
could
good to like show your personality.
show your personality, hear your voice. I mean, listen, people are attracted to other people's voices
Yes.
in
Yeah.
a certain way.
Totally.
So
Except for ours, because we have what? Vocal fry,
Vocal
apparently,
fry.
Yeah, we
according
have
to the
vocal
internet.
fry.
yeah. Vocal fry. What else? There was a few other things.
So one thing about Jared is that he is a loyal spectator of You Can Do Bold's Instagram comments.
For
And
sure.
he will go to war for us
For
if
sure.
necessary.
Yeah.
But
And
he knows.
come for
he
me
knows
and I'll
the
go to
people-
war for myself.
Yeah.
All right.
I feel like I could be a fan of the voice notes if you're a super funny guy.
But think about it. Like, what are you saying?
So like best craziest thing you've ever done, the prompt. You're responding in a
you.
voice note and you're telling
So it's
the
not
story.
just it's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
an unprompted voice note.
No,
It's
no,
answering
it's
a
always
question.
prompted. Yeah, you're answering a question. I think if you're funny, that's a great way for your humor to come through.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, it just shows so much more personality.
Imagine if our voice note was a welcome to the You Can Do Bold podcast.
Courtney,
Cringe.
this is why we can't be single again.
Oh,
Cringe.
I'm done.
Ever again.
You know what I realized to really round out this episode? Now everyone knows Jared, knows who he is, what his preferences are. So we need some You Can Do Bold wing woman out
through.
here for our man.
No,
Come through.
please
But
send
I'm also-
any eligible bachelors.
Yeah, and I want to preface this with I'm pretty open-minded. Like I bring them all.
Oh,
Come one, come all. You Can Do Both is actually turning into Jared's dating show.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I'll be back.
Yeah, absolutely. Let us know if you want to see more of Jared or if you never want to see him again.
Yeah.
Please do.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening. Please like, subscribe, share this episode with a friend. We love you as always, and we will see you next Thursday.
We'll see you next Thursday. Jared, thank you so much for coming on You Can Do Both.
Thank you for having me.
Talk to you next week. Bye.
Illy.